What's up YouTube, this is LDS Reliance. Today we're going to build a bench for the harvest table that we made a couple weeks ago. I'll put the plan designs, links to those in the description of the video so that you can see, kind of visualize what we're going to be building. All we need, this is going to be very simple build. We just need two 2x6 by 8 foot boards. As straight as you can get, because these are going to be the seating surface. And then we need two 2x4 by 8s. Now this is a little bit over 8 feet because they apparently don't sell 8 feet boards anymore. So this is about 8.5 feet each. So we need two 2x4 by 8s, two 2x6 by 8s. And that's really all we need. So that's about $15 to $20 in lumber. Then we're going to need some fasteners. They're going to need to be 2.5 inch, so whether you go with traditional screws or if you decide you want to use a Craig jig, like I always recommend using, then you need some 2.5 inch pocket hole screws. We will need some sandpaper, some finishing products, orbital sander or hand sander for smoothing this down once you're done. And of course, to be able to handle the wood, we're going to need a saw, but you will also need to be doing a couple 45-degree angle cuts, so you'll need a miter saw if you have one. Alright, let's get started with our cuts. First one I'm going to cut each of these at 72 inches. These are the 2x6 by 8s. We only need 6 feet of them, so I'm going to cut each of them off at 72 inches. Now make sure maybe there's some imperfections on the end of the wood. On one of these sides, maybe you want to cut that off just to give you the best possible boards for the seating surface. Alright, next we're going to cut the 2x4, one of the 2x4 pieces. We're going to cut 3 pieces that are 10 inches long each. Alright, next up we need 4 pieces that are 11 inches long out of the 2x4s. Okay, now when you get done with your piece, you're going to have, if you've got a piece like I did, which was about 8.5 feet long, you're going to have a piece left that's about 30 inches, which is perfect for cutting. We need 2 pieces that are 13 inches wide out of this board. Alright, now we have our 13-inch pieces. These are actually going to be the flat pieces that lay against the ground that the bench sits upon. So just for a little decorative touch, we're going to cut a 45-degree miter off of the ends, not all the way to the edge, but just to, about 1/2 inch up on either side. And we're going to do that for both of these pieces. So we need, and they're not parallel, so make sure that you go this way on this one, this way, like so. Now we've got the one board left, and we only need to make 2 more cuts. we need two 30-inch pieces. I'm going to wait and cut these a little bit later because they're going to be kind of custom fit. There may need to be a slight adjustment made later on. They're also going to have a miter on them. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this before I cut these last two pieces out, just so that we can make sure we have a good fit. Okay, so to start assembling this, we want to take two of our 11-inch pieces. Those are going to be vertical like this, and then our 10-inch piece is going to be on top, and the bench is going to be on top of the 10-inch piece here. So I've got a drill with my countersink bit. I'm going to countersink two screws on right here and over here, and then I'm going to put some 2.5-inch screws down in them. You'll never be able to see this, so it's not worth the effort to use pocket hole screws, and then if you use pocket hole screws, you're going to have to fill in the holes that they leave. Okay, and just line these up so that they're square, and then drill in your 2.5-inch screws. Okay, now the 13-inch piece with the little bevel miter dangle here will go on the bottom like that. So we're going to flip this over for now so that we can countersink some screws and drill in from below. Okay, here's our feet. These go on the outer sides. So then we're going to, next step is we're going to take our two seating surface pieces, the 2x6s, and we're going to take our last 10-inch piece, and we're going to use it in the middle to bind these together. And this is going to need to be 34 1/4 inches from the edge. That should be the edge of the 2x4 piece, is 34 1/4 inches from the edge of the 2x6s. Alright, now we're going to attach the legs, and they are going to be 27 3/4 from the edge of the inside 2x4. So this needs to be 27 3/4, and this needs to be 27 3/4. And it's kind of hard to get in here with the drill, but just do the best you can. You can clean that up later and put wood putty in it or whatever you want, but really no one's ever going to see the underside of this thing anyway. Alright, now we're at the only tricky part of this build. Now we're going to, there's a 30-inch or so piece that needs to go from this piece to this edge of the leg. So in order to do this, we're going to need a 22.5-degree miter right there, and a 22.5-degree miter there. So, and they're parallel, so this one is at the same angle as this one. The reason why I left this for last is because if there's any slight variation, if we're just 1/4 of an inch off somewhere, then it's going to make this not work. So we need to take some pretty careful, or actually I'm going to do the 22.5 inch on that side, snug it in there, take a measurement on this side, and then make that cut. And I'm going to do that for the other side as well. Okay, I've cut this piece like that, like so, and then I'm going to put it down in flush like that. And then this should be 30, but I'm going to make a mark on each side where the foot is, and I'm going to cut to that mark and then test fit. So after my first cut here, it's just ever so slightly too long, so that's good. You just don't want it to be too short. So I'm going to start cutting off little slivers until this matches up just perfectly with this leg. Okay, so now we've got these cut. I am going to use a pocket hole jig on this one to put some pocket holes here and be able to drill into that without any, not because I'm trying to hide anything, but just because it'll be a little bit easier than trying to drill at that angle. And then we'll do the same down here at the bottom. I'll put 2 pocket holes right there so that I can screw into that middle brace piece. Okay, and here it is. This is the finished product. I think it looks pretty good. You know, there's several different ways you can finish this. I'm just going to sand it down with probably start out with a little bit of, you know, maybe 80 grit, and then move on to like 150, something like that, and then I'm going to be done with it. I'm just going to leave it natural wood. I think that looks the best in my opinion. I probably will seal it, but you can paint it, you can distress it, you could do chalk paint. I mean, there's any number of things that you can do with this type of a project. So have fun with it, and thanks for watching, guys.